yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away. I can't even hit that fucking note. I can't. Sorry, I was reading a text from somebody that's not important. Been a rough couple days, people. Been a rough time. It was just announced that Doritos and Cheetos are no longer going to be using red dye. Now, this is a big problem for me. I don't want fucking bland, non-red dye 40 Cheetos or Doritos. Let me explain. This is a major blow to the culture. Whatever that is, this is a major blow to everything that we know. People say the world is changing for the better. Those people are idiots. This world is getting worse every day. Good God. Is nothing sacred anymore. Nothing is sacred. And what hurts the most is they didn't even give us a chance to say goodbye. They didn't release a goodbye bag. A goodbye bag would be nice. Like when you break up with a drug dealer, he gives you a goodbye bag. He gives you like a goodbye sack of, whatever your drug of choice is. He adds on a little bit because you're like, hey, I got to get clean. This is my last bag. And he goes, here, hopefully this one gets you OD'd. And you don't have to fucking face that anymore. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is not what we want to see out of our corporations. We want our corporations to be poisoning us. That's what we expect. You like what you expect. You like when people do what you expect them to do. And what I expected to do, what I expected PepsiCo, who I think owns all these companies, I'm not sure on that. Don't hit me in the comments like, no, they don't own that shit. Keep it to yourself. But what I expected was a chance to say goodbye to the red dye number 40 hot Cheetos, red dye number 40 nacho cheese Doritos, red dye number 40 anything. What's happening here is a grave injustice. And nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about, the real issues. And these are the real issues. And people want to, get on their soapbox and talk about, wars. But the battles are fought at home. And we know this. We know that the battles are fought at home. The battles are fought in the bowl of chips. And we're going to make merch that says that. The battles are fought in the bowl of chips. The battles, they're not in some faraway land, in some, country that's not close to home. The battles are here. They're on our doorstep. Red dye number 40 was taken from us like a thief in the night. One day we just woke up and it was gone. How could they do this? How could they do this? They think they can just do things and we won't notice and we'll just fucking suck it up because we're dumb Americans. But this has gone too far. This has clearly gone too far. And nobody wants to talk about it. That's what bothers me the most. Nobody's talking about this. Isn't on Fox News. This isn't on CNN. This isn't on, I think those are the only two news networks I know about. CBS. That's it. That's the only ones. You don't hear Turning Point USA or the Young Turks talking about our red dye. Nobody seems to care about our red dye. You know why? Because it affects us. It actually affects us, Americans. We want the red dye. We've wanted the red dye. We never wanted to get rid of the red dye. And I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. I was at the grocery store a couple days ago. Couldn't find what I was looking for. Couldn't find those tasty hot Cheetos with the red poison in it or the nachos. They were just not there. But I was shopping at a sort of a fancier grocery store, like one for blonde women, one of those grocery stores. And so then I left because I was like, all right, something's happening here. It's like a Truman Show situation. I'm like, this isn't the real world. This is obviously a TV show that I'm living in. So then I go to grocery outlet. Now, for those of you who have never been to a grocery outlet, congratulations, you're doing great in life. You know, if you've never been to a grocery outlet, that's fantastic. That's good for you. But I went into a grocery outlet. And when you go into a grocery outlet, you see all the items and you see them in a grocery outlet and you want to set them free and bring them to a real store because they deserve to be in a real store. I actually walked up to a box of cereal and I said, there's a whole world out there. I could take you away from all this. And he didn't say anything back. And I don't know if it was a he. You don't want to, I try not to gender inanimate objects. But, people have been wondering what's going on with me. I've been a little bit elusive. They don't know what I'm up to. People, have reached out, seeing if I'm okay, if I'm going through something. And I'm really not okay. Because what's happening in America with our red dye number 40 is just trouncing on our freedom. And it's been troubling me. It's been keeping me up, truly. And also, I can't find the cereal Golden Grams anywhere. Literally anywhere. So, if somebody could reach out and let me know where they are, went to grocery outlet, went to the white woman grocery store, couldn't find it, been looking. Things are... What happened? Things are not good. Things are not good. We'll figure that out. Things are not good. And I am deeply troubled by the fact that our corporations have lied to us. Our corporations have manipulated us and taken something that was ours. That was ours. The colors of the American flag are red, white, and blue. What do you think that red is in that flag? That is red dye number 40 in that flag. And they took it from us. Like we never would miss it, Like we weren't going to miss it. They took it from us. And they do that. They take things, Corporations take things. But you never think it's going to hit home like this one did. Moment of silence for red dye number 40. Anyway, I didn't want, I'm sorry I came in hot, full of emotion like that. Not really my style. Didn't want to come in that hot, but I did. I fucking did. So I came in that hot. In other news, what did I do this weekend? I had a show. I had 2 shows. I bailed on a show to do a bigger show. Now, I'm not proud of this moment. However, it's an honor to be asked to do both shows. It is. This is actually a touchy thing where you have the show and then you get a bigger offer because, here's the thing. It's not personal. You have to do what's best for your career. You have to make the connections that are necessary. It's a very selfish pursuit. It's a very selfish business I'm in. The business of comedy it's a selfish sport. You have to think about yourself first because let's be honest, nobody can stand up there with you. Nobody's standing on that stage with you. You are, it's you and a microphone versus everyone. And that's the unfortunate thing of stand-up comedy. That's what makes it so challenging. Is you only have yourself to blame when it goes wrong, and you only have yourself to thank when it goes good. It's a nasty biz. But I had a show. I ended up taking the better, bigger offer. And I did the show. I did the fucking show. And the show was great. It was a great show. It was at a winery. Drunk people are something. When people are really fucked up, it's something. They fucking, man. I was on stage and I was going in. I hadn't even said a joke yet. And this woman and the man, they were a couple, The man in the couple was wearing a backwards hat. Now that is a red flag. That's red flag number one. I should have known. I'm in for trouble. Immediately should have known this was a problem. I should be worried about the backwards hat man sitting next to a woman, right in front, literally right to my left or my right. I don't know. One of the two. It's either the right or the left. One of the two for sure. So I haven't even said a joke yet. And I go, you guys have a good weekend. We made it through the week. You get to just relax and kick your feet up. And then I go into this bit where my weekends are chock full of stuff because I got a girlfriend and we always have plans and things and birthdays. I usually go into something like this. As soon as I said, not me, I got a girlfriend, my weekends are chock full of stuff. As soon as I end the word stuff, this drunk woman next to her backwards hat husband says, try having 5 kids. For everyone could hear her, and I thought, oh no. This woman and this man are gonna fuck the show completely. And I didn't want to attack them. I didn't want to go into crowd work and be mean, which is my default mode. But I'm trying to be better and not do that so much because that can hinder me in certain situations and can actually make people not like me on stage. And I didn't want to ruin their night. They have 5 kids, 5 probably fucked up kids, and they're getting a night out together and they're shit-faced and enjoying their lives. They're loving life. And I didn't want to shit all over that and ruin the mood. But I did, I did some funny things. I tried to keep the show on the rails and sort of be like, haha, wow, that's crazy. Like you're exhausted. Like people laughed, whatever. But they were just talking. They were chit-chatting the whole time and they're right in front. And, I wasn't really in a position where I could have shut it down. I feel like the more I would have gone toward them, the more they would have taken over the show. So I just sort of didn't cower. I just sort of danced around it. And then I did a joke that I always do. It's sort of a political joke. It sort of shits on conservatives. It's not people's favorite if they're conservative. They don't like it. They hate it. They hate me when I tell it. And I told this joke and the woman in the relationship just goes, oh God. And everyone else is laughing, but this woman's clearly upset. And then I don't even think I just ignored it and moved on because it's one of those things where if there's a heckler or a vocal person in the crowd, sometimes the more you pick at the scab, the more it bleeds. So I was like, I'm not going to pick at this because it's just going to bleed. And so that's what happened. These people kind of calmed down later. The guy had his backwards hat on. He ended up putting the hat forwards. I think that calmed him down. I don't know, but I think that calmed him down. When you have a backwards hat on, it's war mode, right? It is. You know what I'm saying? If I were to shoot hoops, go play basketball, you can't have your hat forward because you shoot, near your head. You always have to wear a backwards hat. That's playground basketball 101. This man was in war mode. He was war moding with the backwards hat. And I knew that if I went at him, I'm tangoing with a large man in a backwards hat who's unbelievably shit-faced. He actually, before the show, I heard him asking the bartender if they had IPAs. Now, this man was a special piece of shit, a real special piece of shit. And, he was fine. It was like, they're having fun. They have 5 kids. They're, trying to let loose. They want to laugh, but they also, maybe they haven't let loose in a while and they don't know what letting loose is anymore. They think letting loose is fucking up my show. And that's fair. That's fucking fair. Fuck up the show. Let loose. Ruin the night. Get thrown out. God, that's a romantic thing. Getting thrown out of somewhere with your significant other. You're too rowdy, you get thrown out. That's like Bonnie and Clyde shit. You know, get thrown out. Get arrested. Get a Dewey. You know, get a charge. Catch a charge. Get a fucking Roman candle and shoot it off at a Catholic church. Get a dog. Adopt a dog and then give it back. You know, take a cat and lock it in a shoebox, which isn't even possible, but get into trouble. You know, do that. That's your right. But don't put on a backwards hat and fuck up my show. You fucking clowns. You clowns, you hoes. Hose is a gender neutral term. Men can be hoes. Women are hoes. Hose is gender neutral. If you call someone a hoe, you know, that's just what it is. You know, it's gender neutral. You're not singling out any gender. But that was a show. That was a show. I did another show Saturday. We're not going to talk about that one. It was fine. It went good. Everything was good. Everything's great. Everything was great with that. Don't even need to go into it. Saturday morning, I got up early to go to an AA meeting because a friend of mine was speaking at this AA meeting. There's a speaker at every meeting. They talk, they, do their thing. I got there. You got to get there kind of early for morning meetings because they fill up quick. People actually wake up early and go to AA meetings. This is actually true. So I'm there early. Everyone's outside. I'm thinking, great, I'm going to go in and find a seat. Go in to find the seat. Every seat is empty. No humans are in it, but there's a key sitting on it, a chip sitting on it, a sweatshirt sitting on it, a phone sitting on it. On every chair, there was it was being saved for someone. And I thought, everyone's outside. How can you save seats for all these people? I mean, this is insane. I know nobody there except for the person speaking, but the seat saving, a little out of hand. And it was gross. It was just gross that they did this to me. So I'm standing around, can't sit down because there's a cell phone on every seat, which is crazy. People think people at AA meetings or in AA or in recovery are good people. They're saved, they're better than other people because they got their life together. Actually, they're worse because they had to get it together. They're worse. They are liars, deceitful, cheaters, malcontents, fill in the blank. They're not better than you. They are worse because normal people don't have to fucking pull their life together. Normal people just have it together. They don't fucking, they don't have to have some sort of intervening moment where they have to fucking reel it in. They just are good, normal people. People at AA meetings, for the most part, are not amazing people. And I learned this with the seat saving. When I saw the seat saving, I thought, wow, AA is just like everywhere else in the world. It's full of inconsiderate people who want my goofy, tired...
Oh, she threw up.
Oh, shit. My dog just threw up in the bed. They want my tired, goofy ass to stand in the back of this meeting, looking for a chair, not finding one, feeling dumb, and looking around. And I've never been to this meeting which, if you see like a newcomer at your meeting, typically you go, talk to them, find them a chair. These people did none of that. They did none of that. They just sat and watched me look around for this chair. They didn't give a shit. Which, stung. I'm not going to lie, it hurt. It's hard to admit when you're hurt. As a man or a young or an old boy like myself. I'm more of an old boy. I'm not a young man. I'm an old boy. That's where I'm at. That's where I am. I'm an old boy. I'm not a young man. Young men, are doing a little better. I'm an old boy. I'm a boy who grew up and, pays his bills. But I'm still a boy. I'm not a man. People call me sir sometimes. I don't like it. I don't feel like a sir. I feel like a sire. No, not even a sire. Sire is one of my favorite terms. I call people sire all the time. But I'm not a young man. I'm an old boy. That's how I prefer to be perceived. That's what I'd like. That's what I want. That's what I'll get. And then this AA meeting starts. My friend is sharing. And a woman, a very nice, sweet woman, has her baby in the meeting. A fussy, not happy to be there baby. Very young baby. Like, I don't even know. Probably like within the first year old baby. And, listen, man, I respect motherhood. I respect, that you want to go to your meetings and you got the baby, you can't find a sitter. I respect all of that, I respect mothers. I have a mother. Most people have a mother. And so I understand it's a lot to have to figure out somebody to watch her so you can go to your meetings. And I get that. I understand that. Now, having said that, it was fucking annoying. All right, it was fucking a little bit annoying, and I'll tell you why. Because somebody is speaking, they're sharing, they're pouring their heart out into this meeting. They're talking about their feelings, their innermost, deepest, darkest things, they're really mining their soul. And it's to the soundtrack of a fussy baby. It's just the truth of it. It's like that's what it was. I don't know how to describe. I don't know why it got to me so much, but it just was. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough because nobody wants to be the guy or the woman to look at this other woman and go, hey, take the kid, get the fucking kid the fuck out of here. Everyone, the baby starts making noise and everybody looks at her and goes, oh, oh. And in my head, I'm kind of fuming. I'm kind of not happy at all. So this is let me see if this is right. Okay. Can you hear that? You picking that up? So this is what it sounded like. I had my first drink at 10 years old. I was 10 years old when I first had my first drink. And, it just gave me a sense of calm. It gave me it helped me feel confident about myself in a way that I had never had. That's the speaker looking over going, what is that? It helped me feel like everything was okay for the first time in my life. Because I'd never felt that as a person, I never really felt unconditional love. And I had to reach out for substances to help me feel okay. Because I couldn't feel that on my own. I always felt out of place. I was always the new kid. And they look over. They're getting tripped up. They're not sure. They're getting tripped up. They're going, what's that? Is anyone going to do something? No? Okay. No one's going to do something about the baby. Anyone going to do something about it? Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, so I just never really felt unconditional love and support. And so I reached for a drink. Alcohol is one of the things that made me feel I was finally okay with who I was. And I didn't have to strive to be, loses focus. Speaker loses focus. Speaker kind of shuts down. Nobody does anything. Everyone's looking at this woman with the baby going, Yeah, so I just I had a crippling. The minute I took my first drink, I knew that I was everything was gonna change for me, and I was gonna be a completely different person from here on out, in not a good way. And then drugs became part of it too. Nobody see so you get it. You get it. You got a little taste of it. That was a little taste. Try sitting through that for 20 minutes. 20 minutes of that. This person is pouring out their heart, pouring it all out to that sound. To that sound. In the woman, God bless her. God bless her. It is being a mother is hard. Nobody's going to say it's not. Nobody's going to say it's not publicly. But it is hard. And it's hard. I get it. You're in recovery. You want to bring your baby. That, I can't really shit on that. I can't really shit on that because it is what it is. But then the speaker's going on, and the woman, after a while, finally gets up and goes to take the baby out, right? And she's just out the door. She's just out the door. She's just out the door. And some older woman goes, "No, stop. I'll take it. I'll take the baby." And there's another minute of them her handing the baby off, and she's still crying in the room, and then they're just kind of hanging at the door, and the baby's just going off. And then this older woman has the baby out just outside of the door, so you can still hear the fucking baby going off while this person is still talking. You still hear it. And I just was like, I've had enough. I've had enough. And I didn't do anything, okay? Because I knew deep down in my heart, I can just bitch about this on my stupid podcast next time I do one. And I was like, I'll just do it then. I'll just bitch about it then. And that's what I'm doing now. But I couldn't say anything because it's a touchy situation. You're going to find in your life that you'll be in touchy situations where you don't know what to do. You don't know what the proper course of action is. And it's tough. Let's just say it's tough, right? It's tough. Like, I go through tough things all the time. Like, they canceled Red Dye number 40. They did. They just did that, Nobody told me. Nobody said anything to me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. But it happened, and I had to move on. And I had to move on. And I have to move on. I'm not saying I had to move on because I haven't moved on. Let's be honest. I'm still trying to move on. Still trying to move on. And that's tough. And it's tough. You want to know what else is tough? Being a Raiders fan. That's fucking tough. They suck so bad these days. It's getting sad. It's getting sad, man. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening with the Raiders. They have so much money in the team, but it's just not enough. They just continue to drop the ball, literally and figuratively, just over and over and over again. First football game I ever went to was the Oakland Raiders versus Niners preseason game. I was maybe seven. This was the first time I'd been to the Oakland Coliseum. It was in Oakland. And I was 7. And I was 7. Have I said that? I was 7. So I am 7 years old. I was 7. And this was the first time I saw 2 grown men fight in my life, because I had seen fights, schoolyard scraps, misgivings, kerfuffles, scuffles. I've seen those at school, dude. I had seen those, but I had never seen 2 full-grown men fight. And it was because of me. It was because of me. I was walking through the stadium alone, which I should not have been. They never let kids do this now. A 7-year-old kid walking to the concession stand to get, I don't know, I think I was getting like a hot dog or something because I was hungry. I was always hungry. I was a fat kid. I was overweight. I was always hungry. I go to get a hot dog. I'm wearing a Tyrone Wheatley Raiders jersey. If anyone knows who Tyrone Wheatley is, fuck, man. Hats off to you. He was a good running back, not a great running back, good running back for the Raiders. He was number 47. I was wearing his jersey and I'm walking down. I'm 7. I'm literally 7. And there's some guy in a Niners jersey holding up a sign that says Raiders suck. I'm 7. Did I mention I was 7? I'm 7 years old. And this guy has a sign that says Raiders suck. And I'm 7. And I'm walking by his sign and I'm 7. I'm 7. And this guy looks at me and he goes, "Wrong jersey, buddy. I'm 7. He's in his 40s. I was 7. He says, "Wrong jersey, buddy." And I'm like, I was like, all right. I just kept it moving. I wanted a fucking hot dog. I didn't have time to get into this. I didn't want the smoke. I wanted a fucking hot dog. I didn't want smoke from a 40-year-old man who's probably drunk. He was drunk, okay? So I walk by, I go, whatever, wrong jersey, sure. Wrong life, dude. How about that? I can never imagine saying that to a 7-year-old kid. But adults were meaner to kids back then. Adults are nice to them now. Back in the day, dude, an adult could be fucking mean to you, and you couldn't do anything about it. Nowadays, people run to their parents, and their parents. I would run to my parents when adults were mean to me, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you probably deserved it," So this guy, I'm walking by. He has a sign that says Raiders suck. I'm 7. Did I mention I was 7? 7-year-old kid, walk by. He goes, "Wrong jersey, buddy. Sign says Raiders suck." I'm walking by. I walk by. I'm almost to the hot dog stand. I hear loud footsteps running behind me. I think I'm getting attacked by this man because that's what life was back then. You could get attacked by a grown man while trying to get a hot dog. Behind me, there's a giant, one of the tallest people I've ever seen to this day, runs up in a Raiders jersey, rips the sign out of the dude's head, and they just start fighting right there. I turn around and I'm watching these two grown men fight at a Raider-Niner preseason game. This isn't even regular season. This is preseason. These games don't even count. The starters aren't even in. These people were beating the shit out of each other, and I'm just standing there going, man, I don't even remember what I wanted at the concession. I forgot about the hot dog because I thought this violence is hot enough, right? That was my first experience at a Raider-Niner game. First time I saw two grown men fight at a sporting event. Not the last time. Now, it was not the last time, but I always remember that moment because, hey, man, that guy, that bigger Raiders fan, was defending my 7-year-old honor. He knew. He saw it, and he thought, this drunk idiot is being mean to a 7-year-old Raiders fan. And he went and he fucking gave him the smoke. And I think about that guy all the time. And I've never seen him. I never ran into him again. I never thanked him because the cops hauled him away. I didn't get to thank him. But I just like kind of backed up and this all happened. And then nobody asked me if I was okay after. Nobody checked on me, the 7-year-old kid. I was 7. Nobody checked on me and said, "Hey, 7-year-old, are you all right? That was crazy." Nobody did anything. I just was like, all right. And I went and got a hot dog and I went and sat down again. Yeah. That's the magic of a Raiders preseason football game. That's what you're missing out on. I was 7, I was just 7. I was 7. Sorry. People are texting me. I shouldn't be looking at this right now, but I am, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I am. I have to, oh my God. Oh, man. I'm sick of stand-up. I'm sick of doing stand-up. I really am. I honestly am. You know, I feel like stand up, doing it, trying to tell jokes, entertain people. It takes more out of you than you realize. And I've been overdoing it. I've been doing too many shows, getting on stage too much, forgetting about the war at home, like Red Dye number 40. That's a war at home. That's a war at home I'm really fighting. I just got a text that is sorry. That was some drama. That was a dramatic text right there. That was a dramatic text. Oof. See, my life these days is not is a little rocky. I'll be honest, dude. And I'm not going to talk about it, but there's real life things happening to me. Yeah. Boo hoo. Boo fucking hoo. You know what, though? I'm not going to waste a minute of it on here because this is a time where I get to forget all that and talk about things that don't really matter. You know, talk about all the things. Talk about all the things, man. You know, certain comedians don't like me. That's what really breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart. It really gets to me. It's like, I really want the approval of these fucking 12-year-in comedians who've done fucking nothing with their life. And I just wish they liked me because nothing's worked out for them. And so they could, you know, fuck, dude. If you don't like me, cool. I like that you don't like me. I like it. At least, you know, there's a thought. People think hate and love are different. Hate and love are the same thing. If you hate something, you actually love it. You just wish it did more for you or something else to your mind. I don't know. Everything I hate, I don't think I hate anything because I don't really love anything. Isn't that sad? Take a break. We'll be right back. Hold on. No, we're not taking a break. I feel like you take me serious when I say that. Don't ever take me serious. Roll it. If I say shut this all down, turn it all up. If I say get that camera out of my face, put that camera in my face. Hold on. Life be life, and you know, you can't stop it. You just can't stop it. You know, fuck, dude. What can you do? Why is, you know, everything so actually fucked? It's actually fucked, you know? But yeah, you know, other people, certain comedians that are literal nobodies, have, I guess, been saying that they don't like me. Or they don't like, you know, it's nobody that like actually matters. See, if it mattered, if it was somebody whose opinion I really valued or wanted to be, like, I would do something about it. I would care. But I don't care, you know? You're literally, I don't know. Whoever these people are, they're literally nobodies. And they've been doing comedy more than 10 years, sitting around acting like they have some sophisticated opinions about comedians. And then you see their act and you're like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You fucking suck. You aren't funny. You were never funny. You shouldn't be doing stand-up. It's actually an insult to the art form of stand-up that you think you can do stand-up. It's embarrassing. You're in your 40s, 50s, fucking up there on stage, putting people to sleep. Putting people to sleep with your stupid act. Get out. Go home. You're old. You're elderly. Get the fuck in the house. Nobody cares. You don't have some sophisticated opinion because you booked some shitty show in Milpitas or wherever the fuck it is. I don't want to get too specific because it's people get, I don't want to get too specific because people actually look up your stupid ass and see how sad your fucking life is and how much of a sham it is. And that you hate on other people's success, other people who are younger than you, funnier than you, more liked than you. And instead of looking in the mirror, instead of these people looking in the mirror and going, what's wrong with me? Why does this bother me? What do I need to change about myself to feel better? They don't. They project it. They blame it all on other people. And meanwhile, they just sit there and be bitter and hateful and resentful. It's like comedy passed you by 8 years ago. If you're 4 years in and nothing's happening, quit. If you're 10 years in and nothing's happening, kill yourself. Unalive yourself. We might have to cut that out. Seriously, though, if I'm 10 years in to stand up, dude, some of these people are like 12, like 13 years in. If I'm 10 years into stand-up and nothing has happened, I'm not passed at a club, I don't have anything to show for it. If I'm just a guy still doing shitty shows and open mics, dude, 10 years in, shoot me in the fucking face. End my life. This isn't even a joke. If I'm 10 years into stand-up, that'll be 6 years from now. I will be, in 6 years, I will be 10 years into stand-up. I will be 37 years old. If at 37, I'm still doing open mics and shitty shows, shoot me, dude. End my life. Especially if I'm still doing these shitty shows and open mics and I'm hating on everyone else. If I'm doing the terrible shows and open mics and I'm sitting back going, that's part of kill me, because I am a miserable fuck if I'm doing that. I hate myself. Just do it. Like, don't even, Danny, I'm talking to you now. If in 6 years I'm doing these shitty open mics, our podcast has done nothing, I'm bitter, I'm talking shit about other comedians who are doing more than me, fucking kill me. Seriously. These people, dude, some of these people, first of all, the ego of some comedians or wannabe comedians, the pride, the egos, the you know, even the way they talk about comedy, like they are, you know, it's stand-up comedy. What are we so serious about? This is a fucking joke. Everything is a joke. Like, why are people so serious about it? Especially, dude, you know what sucks? Is people who you go do shows with and you're in a green room with and nobody's funny. Everyone's just sitting there talking about the bus or something. Like, I did a show. I can't say where or when. And I do a lot of shows, and the green rooms are always like great. Usually like great hangs, fun people. Everyone's loose, relaxed, laughing. I did one show where the green room was the saddest thing ever. Everyone was so fucking boring. And these are like good comics, like pretty good for the area. These people were so fucking sad and just kind of like sitting around, blank face, on their phone. And I was just kind of bouncing around like, what are we, like what's going on? Like, are we gonna, like, what's up? Like, hey, you know, and I'd always do stupid bits when I'm in certain green rooms. I'd be like, anybody care if I shower? I'd be like, oh, my dog's coming, is that cool? And I'll try to joke around. This shit just bounced off them. They were just like, and then most of those people had a soft ass set. I don't know if they were nervous or what, but like, I was just sitting back there going, what the fuck is going on? If you're a comedian and you're that bland off stage, I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know. Like, at least be interesting. At least, like, have something. I don't know, man. Like, this sounds shitty, but I like when really funny people on stage are funny off stage. And there's a lot of really funny people on stage who aren't the funniest off stage, which is fine. But some people are just mediocrely funny on stage and total bores off stage. There's some people who are terrible on stage, but hilarious off stage. And that's me. You think I'm funny on stage? You should see me off stage. It's a fucking hoot. I don't know. Maybe not, but I don't know, man. That green room, I'm thinking about that green room, and that was one of the saddest green rooms I've ever been in. And I was bummed, man. I was bummed because I was like, this is a cool show. It's probably going to be a great hang. It was not a great hang. It was a shitty hang. One of the worst hangs I've had all year. Maybe, I'm trying to think of the worst hang. This was like a top 3 worst hang ever. I was literally on my phone. I was like, nobody wants to chill. Nobody wants to do bits. Nobody wants to fuck around. I literally grabbed my phone and my vape, and I went to the darkest, deepest corner of this place because that's what I was reduced to. They reduced me to that. It was crazy. I remember even texting my other friend who was in the green room, and I just texted him. I go, great hang. And he thought that was funny. And I was like, those are the most bits we've done in this green room. People are texting me about doing you can do Wednesday, right? Wednesday? All right. We got someone coming Wednesday. We got a guest for Wednesday. We decided to do one without a guest because we're just checking in with you guys. How you doing? We're doing this podcast. Views are slowly climbing. We've had some interesting moments. We've had some interesting moments on this podcast. For sure. For sure. Danny, what's the most interesting moment we've had? Sorry, I've just been rambling this whole time. What's our most interesting podcast for you, from your perspective? You in? Are you in the system?
Am
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is the most interesting podcast for you?
Bubba.
You can't top
I thought
Bubba.
it was a bit. I thought he was fucking around. I didn't. Is that fucked up?
You told me that too. You told me that before we had him on. That you're like, nah, this guy is just putting on an act. It's not an act. That's him, dude. I've known Bubba for 3 or 4 years now. Like, he's been at it. When I went back to doing stand-up as much as I could, it was like 3.5 years ago. Bubba was bouncing around, and I was like, who is this guy? And I got to know. I think when I was still using drugs and alcohol, I smoked weed with him once. I smoked weed. Would you ever smoke weed with him?
I would. It looked like he was drinking something. I'd want to drink with him.
You want him to get like...
I want him to get like...
You wonder what he's like when he... I wonder what that's like when he gets loaded. Like, he gets drunk. Like, you think he sings? When I used to get drunk, I would sing a lot. I would sing more.
I wouldn't stand of him, like, in front of him if he sings.
Why not?
He's got that lisp. You feel me?
Oh, shit. What about, so far the Bubba podcast is our most viewed podcast.
373 views. I was looking at it right now.
373?
Yeah.
That's 373 people who tuned in to listen to my conversation with Bubba. Also, Emmanuel was very funny. Brian was very funny. Brian and I have been friends a long time. There was a moment in the Emmanuel podcast where it looked like I was angry and I kicked him out of the podcast. I was not angry at him. That was a joke. I adore Emmanuel. I think he's actually a really funny guy. And if you like that podcast, you should see him do stand-up. He's actually really funny. And he's only like a year into it, and he's fucking good. Like, that's a guy who will be really funny. And, like, he's young too, man. He's young. Not like this old dog. Not like me, dude. I'm an old fucking beat up dog. I'm a fucking junkyard dog. And he, he's one of those guys, like there's a few young guys around here who and like around the Bay Area who are so funny, like young kids, like 21, like Noah Guerrero, 21, hilarious, great joke writer, number 7 ranked roast battler, I think, maybe in the world, maybe no, in the U.S. He's 21, ranked 7th roast battler. He's a young kid, dude. That kid is gonna be something. He's so funny. Jet Titus. Jet is a friend of mine. I met him out here. That kid too, 22, maybe 21. They're in that age group, like 21 or 22, and just funny, confident, have it already. Like, have it already. One of the funniest guys I know who's like funnier. Those guys are funny, but like a guy I know who's so funny and so like head and shoulders above a lot of people. He's only 26. Is this guy Ian Langlands? We've done a couple shows together. This dude is like one of the funniest dudes I like love watching him. That kid's gonna be that guy. He's not a kid, but like that guy's funny as hell. We're gonna have him on when he can make time. But that guy's funny. Like, man, there's so many funny people that we know. I just did a show with this guy named Robert Emoto. Bobby, I don't know. He told me he goes by Bobby. I don't know him that well, but we've done a couple shows together. This guy, dude, just kills every time I see him. He's so good. Like, just like really fun. Like, just never has a bad set. Like that's like a mark of a great comedian. Like I've never seen him do bad. He's so likable. Like everyone likes him. Every crowd, doesn't matter the demographic or like the group of people he's performing to. Crushes every time. Bobby Emoto, check him out. If you like stand up, check him out on YouTube or his Instagram. Trying to think of like the funniest people I know around here. Fuck, dude, Scott Capurro. Scott Capurro is a killer. I got to do cool shows with him. I opened for him. God, that guy is just so good. Like, just like says whatever he wants to. Isn't afraid of anything. Like, just not afraid up there. Dude, the funniest guy, when I started doing stand-up, I was 21. Like, I did stand-up for like 6-7 months when I was 21, but I had to stop because I was, really, my life was a mess, and I was like just drinking a lot, and I had to get my life together after, like at a certain point. And so I stopped doing it. But when I was there was a kid who we're the same age. We were the same age though, and his name's Chris Ferdinandson. And even at that young age we were at, he was so funny, man. And he still is so funny. Like one of the funniest guys on stage, off stage too. You see that? There's a fruit fly in here. It's because of these flowers. I got roses on this table and they're kind of cooked. And now I got fruit flies in here. It's not good. Actually, I'm going to throw those out as soon as this is over. They got to go. They're roses and now they're starting to get fruit flies. It's not good. It's not good, man. Fuck. Comedy's crazy. Like, comedians are insane people. Even the good ones, even the ones who are great people, like, there's something crazy about wanting to even do this. Like, it's just insane. Like, musicians are crazy, but it's a different kind of crazy. Like, there's something different about that. Like, what's the difference between crazy musicians and the craziness of comedians versus the craziness of musicians? What would you say it is?
I feel like it's pretty similar.
It is, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but I feel like musicians, especially good ones, are very like, they have more of an ego where like you're like not going to tell them what to do, right? Like they're going to be like, nah, I'm going to do it this way.
I feel like it's also like older musicians too.
Yeah.
Like the younger guys are more open to like, even if they're good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also like tell them like, you're good, but you're not that good. Like I'll like bring them down a couple notches and be like, just because we're telling you you're good doesn't mean you can't get better, type shit. You know?
Totally. Yeah. That's the thing with comedians too. That's the same thing where they're like, hey man, you're good. You're good because you should be good after the amount of time you put in, but you're not. You're not amazing. I'm not in awe of you. There's some guys I do meet though that I'm actually in awe of. Like guys who like should be way bigger than they are. Like around here, or like in the San Francisco area, like where I see him and I'm like, this dude should have a special on Netflix, or this dude should be on TV. And a lot of them like will do that. But like, dude, like I'm trying to think of this guy I saw. Oh man. I don't even want to say his name because I don't want him to think it's like a knock on him, but he's been doing it a while. Every show I do with him, he's so like crushes, and he's a little older. Um, and he's doing cool stuff. Like he's been on like TV and stuff, but man, I'm like, this guy is so good. Like he should have a special. And I remember I did one show with him, and he went before me because he had to go do another show. So they're like, he's gonna go before you, and I was like, God damn it, like fuck, like I gotta follow him because I knew he was gonna crush, and he did crush, and luckily I did good after him too. But in my head, I was like, fuck, man, like I would rather follow anybody else, and but you know, that happens to you a lot. It's gonna happen to you a lot. Like fuck, dude. Natalie was telling us. Natalie Diaz, if you haven't seen that episode, go listen to that. But turn this off. Go listen to the Natalie Diaz episode. But Natalie was telling us that the first time she did Cheaper Than Therapy, which is this cool black box theater in the city in San Francisco, the first time she did it, Mark Norman popped in, who's like fucking brilliant. Like Mark Norman's amazing. He just popped in and was like, yeah, I was in town. I want to do a set. Comedy. And she had to follow Mark Norman. And luckily she did good because she's hilarious and she's good. But dude, I would have left. I would not have, I would have left. I would have been like, you're going up. I'm going to go after you. No, sir. No, sir. I'm getting in the Uber. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm out. Not going to happen. Not happening. I'm trying to think of anything else I should update people on before we cut. I've been doing shows. Things are going cool. Things are cool. I'm moving along in this crazy rat race. This is a rat race. Stand-up comedy is a rat race. And it's an individual sport. It's a thing where, you know, you have your friends, you have buddies that you started with, but you really have to go it alone a lot of the time. Like you got to do what you know, you got to have self-preservation to a certain extent, because if you are too attached to certain people or certain things or wanting to do shows with certain people, or you're gonna hinder yourself. And it's like a lot of people, and you don't realize this or you don't know this, but you find out like in your travels that people have beefs with certain people. Like, oh, I don't like this person, or I have a problem with this person, and like that is fair. That's their right. But by being a individual entity, you can just be cool with everyone and not get involved in those beefs and involved in those petty disagreements. And you know, your reputation is important. It's almost more important than being funny. Like what people think of you, your character. And you know, even for me, like I've done things and acted in certain ways that have affected my character, or maybe affected my reputation with certain people. You know, everyone has those moments, and I've done things, not like horrible things, but maybe that could be conceived as shitty things. And like, you know, you try to like recognize it and apologize for it later. Like I remember I did something, I was running a show, and there was like a bunch of comedians from like San Francisco, like the peninsula area, that were in town. And like one of them had performed the night before, and we did like a late night show after, because there was a bunch of people there and wanted to see more comedy. And there was like a comedian who's a very funny guy, like a good comedian, who the lineup was pretty full, and like we were kind of just fucking around, and like it was my show, so I kind of had a say in who was like going up. And this comedian came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm so and so. It's nice to meet you." And he didn't even ask for a set. This fruit fly, I'm gonna kill the fruit fly. The fruit fly is gonna die today. Enjoy this moment, fruit fly, because you're done after this. Your life ends today. But anyway, so this guy comes up to me, and I was like running the show. I was kind of like scatterbrained, and I think I was maybe a little drunk. I don't even remember. It was like a while ago where that could have been a thing. I could have been a little buzzed. And he was very nice too. He came up and he was like, "Hey, I'm this person. You know, I'm just saying what's up." And I kind of thought he was like angling to do a set and like get on stage, but the lineup was already full. And I just kind of brushed him off like, "Hey, yeah, cool, man. Yeah." And just brushed him off like a dickhead. And it was not cool to do. And I didn't even like, he didn't even notice it or like think about it after that. But I was in my head like, damn, I shouldn't have dissed him like that, or I shouldn't have brushed him off like that. And I saw him like a year later, maybe like a year and a half later, maybe it was a year later. And I was like, "Hey man, when I met you, I kind of was like rude to you and like brushed you off. And I've been kind of like thinking about that and wanted to like apologize to you." And like I didn't have his number or his like we weren't close like that, so I couldn't reach out to him. And he was like, "Dude," he was like, "I didn't even think that was the thing." He was like, "Yeah, I didn't even see it like that." And I was like, "Oh, cool, good to know that I have way less of an effect on people than I think." But it's good to like recognize when you do something shitty and apologize for it. I don't know. Maybe that's the theme of this episode. Like, you can be shitty and do fucked up things, but try to recognize it and apologize for it. Like, you know, Doritos and Cheetos. Like, I know you canceled Red Dye number 40. I loved Red Dye number 40. You could just say sorry. You could say sorry. You know, maybe apologize. You know, I have my email. You can email me. You could reach out to me on social media. I'll give you my phone number. If you want to call me personally and apologize for the Red Dye number 40, I'll hear you out. I'll hear you out. That's what I'll say. I'll hear you out. If I have to apologize to somebody, I just wish for them to hear me out, and I will hear you guys out. God bless you all, and be good to each other. Good night.